15 mysterious ancient discoveries that scientists still can't explain. Hello, and welcome to Ancient History. Dear viewers, did you know that the ancient world has long been a treasure trove of mysteries that we have only begun to uncover? What we know today is just a small fraction of what remains hidden, and some mysteries have left even scientists and archaeologists completely baffled. Did the bizarre prehistoric creatures that humans once imagined actually exist? Why are unique and mysterious treasures buried deep beneath the earth, waiting to be discovered? And what stories remain untold behind strange skeletons with unusual features or magnificent ancient structures that still guard their secrets? These questions continue to fascinate researchers and drive countless expeditions in search of answers. Will the deepest secrets of the ancient world one day be revealed, or will they remain unsolved puzzles forever? In this video, join Ancient History as we travel back through time and explore some of the latest archaeological discoveries from around the world. Are you ready? If so, let's begin right now. The 5,000-year-old Ötzi mummy carries a deadly curse. Some archaeological discoveries amaze the world with their historical value, but others send chills down your spine, accompanied by strange deaths, unexplainable coincidences, and even eerie curses. One of the most infamous cases that plunged archaeologists and the scientific community into years of doubt is the Ötzi mummy, the 5,000-year-old Iceman. Ötzi is the oldest naturally preserved mummy found in Europe, discovered in near-perfect condition. But this very mummy became the center of a tragic series of events. 7 people directly involved in Ötzi's discovery and study died mysteriously, raising the question, is there truly a curse quietly surrounding this ancient corpse? The story begins on September 19, 1991. In the Ötztal Alps, a German couple was hiking, unaware that their lives were about to change forever. At an elevation of over 9,800 feet, deep in eternal ice, they stumbled upon the body of a man lying face down, partially protruding from the glacier, yet showing no signs of decay. No one at the time suspected that this was a perfectly preserved mummy dating back 5,300 years. The mummy was taken for study at the border between Austria and Italy and was named Ötzi, after the Ötztal mountain range where he was found. Immediately, Ötzi became a global archaeological sensation. No natural mummy had ever been so well preserved, especially in such a harsh, high-altitude environment nearly uninhabited by humans. Scientists determined Ötzi was a man around 45 years old, living during the transitional period between the Stone Age and the Copper Age, a critical stage in human evolution. What made the discovery even more remarkable was that Ötzi still carried his everyday tools: a stone axe, arrows, a knife, a backpack made from pine wood, and clothes sewn from animal skins. This gave researchers an incredibly detailed insight into ancient life more than 50 centuries ago. But the strange part only began afterward. Based on wound analysis and body marks, it was discovered that Ötzi died in an armed conflict. He had an arrowhead lodged in his left shoulder, which was the direct cause of death. But why was Ötzi found at such a harsh, high altitude? Was he fleeing, a nomad, or perhaps an ancient shaman? In fact, the strange tattoos on his body, the white stones and twisted leather tassels he carried, and the unusual tools that didn't resemble typical hunting gear led many experts to speculate that Ötzi was not just an ordinary man, but possibly a shaman or a spiritual figure in his community. Had he performed an ancient ritual on the mountaintop and paid for it with his life? By now you might think these are just typical archaeological hypotheses, right? But wait, the most mysterious part has yet to appear. After Ötzi's discovery and study, a series of sudden deaths began to occur. It started with Rainer Henn, a forensic pathologist who first conducted Ötzi's autopsy. He died in a car accident just months later. Then Kurt Fritz, the guide who found the mummy, died in an avalanche while his companions survived. Soon after came Rainer Holz, the documentary filmmaker on Ötzi, who died from a mysterious cancer. Helmut Simon, the original discoverer of the mummy, disappeared mysteriously while mountain climbing and was later found dead. A year later, Dieter Warnecke, who helped search for Helmut, died suddenly from a heart attack at just 45 years old. Even Konrad Spindler, the chief archaeologist who studied Ötzi and once laughed at the idea of a curse, died a few years later from a rare disease. Finally, Tom Loy, a biologist who discovered blood traces on Ötzi, also succumbed to a rare blood disease before completing his research. In total, 7 mysterious deaths, all directly connected to Ötzi's mummy. What's even more chilling is that most died suddenly, while still healthy, or from extremely rare medical causes. Is this just a chain of random coincidences? Or is an ancient curse awakening after millennia trapped beneath ice and snow? The question remains open, as too many complex and mysterious factors have yet to be explained. Today, Ötzi's mummy is preserved under special conditions at the South Tyrol Archaeological Museum in Italy, where scientists continue to study his origins, identity, and the secrets surrounding his life. Still, every year, visitors come to see Ötzi with curious and sometimes cautious eyes. Some believe, some scoff at the curse stories, but many leave quietly after hearing about the 7th death, feeling unsettled. Ötzi is not just a 5,000-year-old mummy. He is a gateway back to a distant era when humans and nature intertwined in strange ways. And if everything connected to Ötzi truly is a curse, perhaps it is a warning that sometimes the past should be left to rest peacefully in its eternal sleep. A 2,000-year-old bog mummy, revealing the chilling secrets of Celtic human sacrifice. History is not always told through yellowed pages of ancient books. Sometimes it is preserved intact deep within the earth, in places where time itself seems to have stood still. Some discoveries send a chill down our spines, not because they are merely ancient remains, but because they serve as vivid evidence of the dark rituals of the past. The story of Lindo Man, a more than 2,000-year-old male mummy discovered in England, is one such case, where every small detail of the body reveals a haunting death. The mummy was found in a peat bog at Lindo Moss, near the town of Wilmslow in Cheshire, England. What astonished scientists and archaeologists was the nearly perfect level of natural preservation. The skin, hair, and even facial features remained clear enough to be recognizable. Even more remarkably, researchers were able to determine both the cause of death and the man's final meal. As a result, the mummy, named Lindo Man, quickly became one of the most famous archaeological discoveries in Europe. According to analysis, at the time of his death, Lindo Man was a healthy man in his early 20s. His body showed no signs of long-term hard physical labor, no calloused hands, no bone damage caused by strenuous work. This led scientists to believe that Lindo Man may have belonged to a high-status class within ancient Celtic society. And yet, how could someone like this have ended his life in a cold, black peat bog? To this day, science has not been able to fully explain why the natural environment at Lindo Moss was able to preserve the body so exceptionally well. However, what researchers are almost certain of is that the cause of Lindo Man's death was far from simple. His body bore numerous severe injuries to the head, neck, chest, and ribs. Most of these wounds were caused by blunt force applied with extreme violence, enough to cause serious trauma or death. In addition, there were clear-cut marks on the neck and chest, indicating that this was not an ordinary accident. Based on these traces, a disturbing hypothesis was proposed. Lindo Man may have been the victim of an ancient human sacrifice ritual. According to scholar Anne Ross, an expert in Celtic history, along with Don Robbins of the University of London, the key evidence lay in the victim's stomach. Inside, scientists discovered a piece of burned bread that had not yet been fully digested. While this may sound insignificant, in ancient Celtic culture, this detail carried a deeply unsettling meaning. According to Celtic records and legends, those chosen for sacrifice would draw lots by pulling pieces of bread from a bag. Whoever happened to draw the burned piece would become the offering to the gods. For this reason, the presence of burned bread in Lindo Man's stomach has led many researchers to believe that he was, in fact, the chosen one in a brutal sacrificial ritual. Beyond that, scientists have also suggested that this sacrifice may have been intended to seek the favor of 3 Celtic gods. The goal may have been to prevent, or to ask for protection against, a Roman invasion, believed to have occurred around 60 CE. If this hypothesis is correct, then the death of Lindo Man was not merely a personal tragedy, but a reflection of the fear and deep spiritual beliefs of an entire community in the face of historical upheaval. Just thinking about it is enough to send a chill down the spine, isn't it? The oldest mummies in Asia and the smoke ritual that preserved bodies for 12,000 years. Did you know that across the vast region stretching from Southeast Asia to China, archaeologists are gradually uncovering a phenomenon so strange that it is forcing scientists to rethink many assumptions about how ancient humans faced death? That phenomenon is the discovery of numerous mummies dating from 4,000 to as far back as 12,000 years ago, found in ancient burial sites across China, the Philippines, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. And they all share one astonishing similarity. They were not preserved using modern embalming techniques or wrapped in linen like Egyptian mummies. Instead, they were preserved with smoke. The research team, led by archaeologist Xiao Chun Hung from the Australian National University, conducted investigations at dozens of ancient sites throughout the region. And what they uncovered was not merely a collection of skeletal remains, but an entire system of complex burial rituals that lasted for thousands of years. Rather than being buried immediately after death, these bodies underwent a special process. They were smoked for extended periods before being placed in tombs. It was this method that preserved the bodies in such a remarkable way, allowing them to survive to this day in an almost intact condition. Even more fascinating is the fact that these mummies were not laid flat like those in many other civilizations. Instead, they were often found in tightly flexed positions, with their bodies intentionally curled inward. This was not accidental, but rather part of a highly symbolic burial ritual. To better understand the process, researchers used modern analytical techniques such as X-ray diffraction and infrared spectroscopy. The results showed that the bodies had been exposed to heat after death, but only at low levels, not enough to completely cremate them. At the same time, soot residue was found on the surface of the bones, providing clear evidence of a prolonged smoking process carried out in a controlled environment. So what does that mean? It means this was not an isolated natural phenomenon, but a deliberate ritual repeatedly practiced by multiple ancient communities. In fact, the appearance of the same type of mummy across countries stretching from East Asia to Southeast Asia suggests that this may once have been a widespread tradition among early agricultural societies. It was not simply a method of handling the dead, but may also have carried profound spiritual, religious, or cultural meaning. Researchers believe that for ancient people, smoke may have served as a bridge between the world of the living and the world of the dead. By smoking the body, they may have believed the soul could be preserved or guided more completely into another world. But surprisingly, this ritual did not entirely disappear with time. During a field study in Papua, Indonesia, scientists personally witnessed several indigenous groups, such as the Dani and Pumo peoples, still practicing similar traditions even today. They tightly bind the body of the deceased, place it on a raised wooden platform, light a fire beneath it, and allow smoke to surround the body for long periods of time. The process continues until the body turns completely black, creating what appears to be a real-life smoke mummy. A ritual that once seemed to belong only to distant prehistory is still surviving in our modern world, and that creates a strange connection between the past and the present, where humanity's relationship with death may not have changed nearly as much as we once believed. These discoveries, stretching from China to Southeast Asia, are not only helping scientists better understand ancient preservation techniques, but are also raising a much bigger question. Why did so many different cultures choose smoke as a method connected to the dead? What do you think the answer might be? Think the 700-year-old Buddha head, hidden in tree roots. The city of Ayutthaya, founded in 1350, was the second capital of Thailand after Sukhothai. Once one of the largest cities in the world, with a population of nearly 1 million people, Ayutthaya was a powerful cultural and political center between 1351 and 1767, until it was invaded and destroyed by Burmese forces. During the invasion, men were killed, women were captured, and temples were decimated. Many Buddha statues were left headless, and the once prosperous city was reduced to ruins. Countless temples were destroyed or collapsed under the violence. The Burmese invasion left behind a trail of devastation that marked one of the greatest losses to human heritage. By the 20th century, the Thai government had begun restoring Ayutthaya, transforming it into a modern city. In 1991, UNESCO recognized it as a World Heritage Site. However, many of its historical sites still bear the scars of the past, with ruins that transport visitors back in time, evoking the grandeur and the destruction of its golden era. Among the most iconic landmarks is a 700-year-old stone Buddha head entwined in the thick roots of a sacred fig tree, located within the grounds of Wat Mahathat Temple. Remarkably, despite the massive roots that should have crushed the statue over time, the Buddha's head remains untouched. Instead, it has become a living part of the tree itself. a mesmerizing sight where nature and spirituality appear to merge. According to legend, when Ayutthaya fell, a soldier placed the Buddha's head at the base of the tree. Over centuries of war, weather, and neglect, the tree grew around it, but never damaged it. Instead, the roots gently embraced the statue, preserving it in an almost divine act of protection. Today, visitors are struck not just by the surreal image, but by the expression of the statue itself. Despite being enclosed tightly by gnarled roots, the Buddha's face wears a faint, peaceful smile, a serene presence amid the devastation. Locals believe the site is sacred and brings good fortune to those who visit. Even in sorrowful silence, the Buddha's calm gaze and subtle smile radiate an unshakable resilience, reminding us that even in the most despairing times, there is still hope and grace to be found. The 1,000-year-old mysterious handprint. Deep within the ancient city of Jerusalem, a place that once stood at the heart of bloody conflicts, chapters of a 1,000-year history are still being unearthed from beneath the ground. This time, an eerie and fascinating discovery has stunned the archaeological world. A human handprint carved directly into the stone wall of an ancient dry moat, nearly 33 feet wide, built in the 10th century, a peak era of fierce defenses against waves of invasions. But the question that sparks everyone's curiosity is, why a handprint? Who left this mark? And does it carry a hidden message? During a survey in preparation for a modern infrastructure project, experts from the Israel Antiquities Authority discovered the moat lying deep beneath one of today's busy roads in Jerusalem. Manually hewn from solid rock, this moat measures at least 33 feet wide and ranges in depth from 6.5 to 23 feet. Unlike the water-filled moats surrounding European castles, this one is dry, and that's exactly what made it a strategic masterpiece. Imagine you're an invader, trying to cross rugged terrain and sharp sloping rock under a hail of arrows and burning projectiles from defenders above. It would feel like stepping straight into a death trap. That was the very purpose of this dry moat, to deter any army that dared dream of conquering Jerusalem. According to historical records, this formidable structure significantly slowed the advance of even the mightiest medieval armies, particularly the Crusaders, during their siege of Jerusalem in 1099. Exhausted after a long and grueling journey, they arrived only to find themselves facing a massive pit of death. It took 5 weeks of relentless assault, countless tactics, and a heavy toll in lives before the Crusaders were able to cross the moat and enter the city. And then, right on the steep stone wall of that moat, archaeologists discovered a strange handprint, a clearly carved human hand, as if someone deliberately left behind a message for the ages. It wasn't a royal symbol, nor a religious engraving, but a bare, silent, haunting hand. The image raises countless questions. Was it the mark of a warrior who once gave his life defending the city? Or a final message from an invader, a testament to a fleeting yet fierce presence in the Holy Land? Perhaps it was just the idle carving of a bored soldier, one that unknowingly left behind a puzzle for generations. What's most intriguing is that experts still don't have a definitive answer. The handprint could have belonged to a Muslim or Jewish defender who bravely stood guard over Jerusalem for centuries. Or perhaps it was a European soldier, one of many who journeyed from afar in the brutal Crusades. Or maybe it meant nothing at all. That unanswered question is precisely what makes this discovery so mysterious and compelling. Archaeologists hope that continued research into the moat and its surroundings will eventually shed light on the true meaning of the handprint. Because even the smallest artifact, when placed in its proper historical context, can unlock an entirely new chapter of history. Beneath layers of time's dust, a carved handprint, seemingly meaningless, might just be the key to unlocking a forgotten piece of our ancient past. So, what do you think? Whose message is this handprint? Is it a symbol of hope, a vow of loyalty, or just a random mark left amid the blood-stained canvas of history? Share your thoughts below. Who knows, you might be the one to help us uncover the mystery hidden in the ancient stones of Jerusalem.